Greetings! Today we're talking about invasive species. In the previous videos I gave examples and defined what invasive species are, but today I'll be talking about how to deal with said invasive species. Now of course not every single invasive organism is the same, and there will be different methods for tackling each and every one, but they all stem from a fundamental similar issue, and that is ecological vulnerability, usually stemming from a lack of ecological or biodiversity intactness in that location. Boom, just teleported back home. For those of you following this series, you might remember something I mentioned in a previous video where the Japanese knotweed wasn't able to fully take hold in a location because it was more biodiverse. What I essentially meant by this is that the niches that are available in that ecosystem are already being taken up by native or non-invasive species. So when invasive species like the knotweed does turn up, it is less able to spread and cause issues because the niche is already being taken up. Again, for more context, when a species becomes invasive, it is usually taking advantage of an empty niche that something else should be occupying. Obviously, this isn't always the case. It can also be a case that a niche, maybe a predator, or an herbivore that would suppress that invasive species has been lost from the ecosystem, thus making it more vulnerable to invasives. Perfect example is here in the UK. We have 4 species of invasive deer, and our 2 native deer act invasively as well. This is because we have absolutely 0 apex predators present in the British ecosystem. The wolves, bears and lynx that should be keeping them in check have been extirpated, and the humans that try to replicate that niche fail miserably. Both because humans can't replicate what wolves, lynx and bears are supposed to do, and from the fact that a lot of hunting lobbies want to keep these deer numbers artificially high, so it is a lot easier to hunt them in the future. It's a fairly similar situation with non-native game birds as well, because around 40 million of those are reintroduced every single year just for hunting. Again, both those things I've mentioned previously are issues for another video. So what is the best way in addressing all the invasive species issues here in the UK? So number 1, ban practices that actively introduce non-native invasive species like pheasant, ban the active sale of invasive plants like Rhododendron ponticum, actively punish landowners for not acting on invasive species that are present on their land, such as Himalayan balsam. But the number 1 best way we can tackle the invasive species issue is by strengthening our ecosystems, by reintroducing native species. And yes, that does mean bringing animals back like the wolf, facilitating the natural spread of species like wild boar back into previous ranges, and rewilding land between majorly disconnected environments, because the more connected and biodiverse and natural these ecosystems are, the more resilient they will be to change, especially invasive species. Or you could just be an idiot.